Presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Wisconsin.
It's a gorgeous afternoon for baseball at Miller Park, and yes, Jonathan Lucroy is still a Milwaukee Brewer at the moment as the crew goes for a sweep over Pittsburgh in the 10-game homestand finale. The news overnight, Jonathan Lucroy vetoed a trade to the Cleveland Indians that would have landed 3 prospects for the Brewers, which has turned into a situation you rarely see. Jonathan Lucroy still a Brewer once again. As we welcome you back inside Miller Park, I'm Telly Hughes. It's been an eventful 16 hours or so for Jonathan Lucroy and the Milwaukee Brewers as Lucroy vetoed a trade that would have sent him to the Cleveland Indians, which was well within his rights. Earlier, Luke talked about the situation and brought some clarity without going into too many details.
There are some circumstances came up that made me void it, obviously, and I think when it eventually comes out, everyone will understand why, and that's it. So I'm not going to comment any specifics, nothing like that. As much as I'd like to, I'm respecting the process and what the Brewers are trying to do in terms of another trade. If that's going to happen or not, I don't know. As of right now, I'm still a Brewer, and I'm going to be until someone tells me different.
We know that this is part of the process. It's why we engage with multiple teams throughout the entirety of the negotiation, and Jonathan elected to invoke the no trade clause, and we certainly were aware that that was a possibility.
We re-engage with teams on him now?
We'll continue to evaluate the market like we will with a number of players on our roster, and if something compels us to make a move between now and 3 p.m. tomorrow, we'll do so.
Once again, Jonathan Lucroy vetoed a trade that would have sent him to the Cleveland Indians, but as you just heard Brewers general manager say, David Stearns, this is not a situation that's completely over. And for more on this highly unusual situation, we send it up to the booth where Matt and Rock are standing by, guys.
That's right, Telly. There's still a lot that could go on here all across baseball between now and 3 o'clock Central Time tomorrow. That's the non-waiver trade deadline. But Rock, everybody has to look out for himself and all this. The Brewers and their interest, obviously, and Jonathan Lucroy and his interest. And in this case, a contract he negotiated, he had a veto right. Simple matter of exercising it. You heard the clip. There was something or some things he wasn't comfortable with, so he exercised his right.
Well, reports are that the Cleveland Indians did not guarantee Jonathan Lucroy would catch every day next year. Not this year. Yan Gomes, their everyday catchers on the disabled list, he's going to be missing 2 months. But he will be catching the rest of the season. If, in fact, he went to Cleveland, they couldn't promise him that next year. And why is that important? It's because Lucroy, after next year, would be a free agent, and that would certainly, diminish his value as a player. If he was just hitting, playing first, DHing, those types of things, and not catching every day, that's not something Jonathan Lucroy really wants to pursue. His value is as a catcher, and that's one of the big reasons why he vetoed that trade. And again, he's looking long-term, not short-term, for his career.
All right, so bottom line right now, Jonathan Lucroy remains a Milwaukee Brewer. And oh, by the way, the Brewers are getting set to close out what's been a really good homestand, 6-3 so far, and a chance to sweep the Pittsburgh Pirates and continue the home dominance the Brewers have had against Pittsburgh, a team still in the mix in the playoff chase. Series finale coming up on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. Starting pitching rematch of 10 days ago, Francisco Liriano. He's had a tough year this year, but he did pitch well against the Brewers on July 21st, and he gets the call today. For the Brewers, it's Matt Garza. Still looking to get things back on track, but took a good step in the right direction on Tuesday night. Pitched well in a no decision, but it was a game the Brewers won against Arizona. Crew going for the sweep. It's coming up next on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Got it, Dick.
Another gorgeous day, and Jonathan Lucroy remains a Milwaukee Brewer, at least for now, vetoing a proposed trade with the Cleveland Indians overnight. He is still a Brewer, not in the lineup tonight. Matt Garza, though, he is on the mound trying to pick up where he left off. He threw the ball pretty well in a no decision, and outing on Tuesday night against Arizona, a game the Brewers did go on to win. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Spend the night with luxury. It's been a perfect day once again. We've had some terrific weather here throughout most of this homestand. Upper 70s, bright sunshine, the roof wide open as the Crew looking to complete the sweep over Clint Hurdle's Pittsburgh Pirates. As his team was playing pretty well, but the Brewers have taken the first two games of this series. Let's check out that Pirates order as Hurdle submits today, presented by Potawatomi. John Jaso at the top, followed by Gregory Polanco and Andrew McCutchen. Starling Marte hits cleanup. David Freese over at third, followed by Josh Harrison. Rounding out the batting order, Jordy Mercer, Eric Fryer behind the plate, and the veteran Francisco Liriano on the mound. And that's the order that will match up against Matt Garza.
Yeah, Garza making start number 9, 1-4, a 5.74 earned run average. As you talked about, Matty, pretty good his last time out. 6 innings, 3 runs against the Diamondbacks here at Miller Park in a Brewers 9-4 victory. Making start number 11 against the Pirates. He's currently 2-4 and a 4.61 earned run average against the Buccos.
Yeah, this is a rematch of 10 days ago. Garza versus Liriano. And that's going to try to get it to go his way today. First pitch swinging. John Jaso will lift one to center field. And Keon Broxton, another starting call at the track with the catch. And that is out number 1.
Now let's check out the rest of the Menards defense. You saw Keon Broxton out in center. You got Elmore and Neuenhuis On either side of him, Elmore making another start out in left field. Perez, the red hot Hernan Perez at third base. V.R. Jeanette up the middle. Chris Carter at first. And once again, Martin Maldonado behind home plate.
Maldonado back behind the plate. Jonathan Lucroy, as we mentioned, but if you're just checking in, yes, he remains a Milwaukee Brewer, not in the lineup again here today. Trade deadline 3 o'clock Central Time tomorrow afternoon. Martin Maldonado, who's been performing well when called upon, performing well offensively. He's been getting it done defensively throughout, but Maldy's had a pretty good week at the plate. Back behind the plate again here today. Gregory Polanco had a hit last night, and the hit was a home run for the Pirates. Deep in the 8th inning. This is a Pittsburgh team that is 6th in runs scored in the National League. It's a team that hits the ball pretty well, but the Brewers and that pitching staff has kept the bats pretty quiet for the most part, as Garza missing with the curve. It's now 2-1. The Pirates have managed just 4 runs in the first 2 games. The Brewers on Friday night winning 3-1, and then the Crew winning last night 5-3. Pirates 4 runs on 12 hits in the first 2 games of this series. So the Brewers pitchers continuing to deal very effectively against the Pirates this weekend, and really for the most part throughout this homestand it's been good.
The Brewers have been impressive. I mean, they've been scoring some runs. As you mentioned, the bullpen's been very good. They've been aggressive on the bases. It's been a lot of fun to watch them in his 10-game homestand. That has been very successful, and it's not the big boys necessarily getting the job done. Hernan Perez, Neuenhuis having a great homestand. Scooter Gennett swinging the bat.
3-1 pitch to Polanco, misses, and with 1 out, Polanco is on board via the walk. Walks hurt Matt, couple of them in the first inning, the last outing against the Pirates. Gave up a couple, and then Matt Joyce hit a 3-run homer. And then Garza did settle down, but hoping to avoid to get himself into trouble here in the first inning this afternoon. Here's Andrew McCutchen. And before coming to Milwaukee, McCutchen had a big day, 3 hits, homered in a big victory against the Seattle Mariners. And throughout the weekend, you're seeing it again here today. The shift on for the center fielder for the Pirates.
And the Brewers are doing just that to Andrew McCutchen, which is unusual because he has a very quick bat. They've been pitching him inside, and he's gotten jammed quite a bit in this series. Really real time, he's been really hitting the ball hard. His pitch is out away from him, and normally McCutchen is a very good fastball hitter when you try and come inside. Very quick bat.
See that average for McCutchen at 241, 0 for 8 in this series. Historically has hit well against the Brewers and has hit for some power against the Brewers. Pirates come in 52-50. Had a very poor month of June, but then played some pretty good ball for Clint Hurdle toward the end of June, and came into Miller Park on a pretty good roll. But the Brewers have been able to slow them down, at least so far, as Milwaukee now has an 8-game home winning streak against the Pirates going back to last year. 1-2 the count to Andrew McCutchen.
And we saw a pretty good curveball from Matt Garza last time out after that first inning. It's been a good pitch for him. And to locate his fastball a little bit better. We have seen him try to establish inside with that fastball and the slider to go with it. Rick Counsell hoping that he can get deep into today's game. They could use it. Bullpen's been busy.
And a swing and a miss. McCutchen, first strikeout victim for Garza today. 2 men out in inning number 1.
Have a fastball in, right? I mean, that's what we were talking about. Very effective for Garza when he's able to establish in there and get some strikes up and in on McCutchen. Can't get to it.
Well, to your point about the bullpen, it was an active group last night. Counsell using 4 relievers: Carlos Torres, Tyler Thornburg, Will Smith, and Jeremy Jeffress. Jeffress has recorded saves in each of the last 3 games for the Brewers. Thursday afternoon against the Diamondbacks, and then Friday and last night against the Pirates as Starling Marte steps in. Marte's had a good series, 4 hits, including a couple last night. Been hitting just about everyone lately as you see what he's done over the last 10 games. Polanco, the runner at first, reaching on a walk. Garza working Marte inside.
This is a pretty good lineup up and down that the Brewers have been able to handle pretty well in the first 2 games of this series. Very surprising the Pirates really haven't been able to muster a whole lot of offense. They have been swinging the bats well before they came to Miller Park.
Junior Guerra was electric on Friday night, going 8 2/3. Marte with a bouncer over to third. That's Hernan Perez, and that's a nice first inning for Matt Garza. He gives up a walk, but that's it. Pirates do not score. Brewers coming up to face Lariano. In the first, and now Craig Counsell will watch his team hit for the first time tonight. His group 6-3 in this homestand. 10-game run ending this afternoon. Let's check out the Brewers batting order presented by Potawatomi. Jonathan Villar at the top. Jake Elmore is starting call again out and left. Hernan Perez will hit third. Chris Carter the cleanup man. Scooter Gennett, Martin Maldonado, and then 7, 8, 9, Kirk Neuenhuis, Keon Broxton, and Matt Garza, and that's the order that will face the veteran lefty Francisco Liriano.
Yeah, veteran. His first year was with the Minnesota Twins back in 2005. His 4th year with the Pirates. And he pitched a pretty good game against Milwaukee back on July 21st. He actually had a season-high 13 punch-outs. So he was on his game in that particular day back in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, with the 13, as you mentioned, the number of strikeouts, the 13, and no walks. And that was big news for a pitcher who's had a lot of issues with control here this season. He has given up more walks than anyone in the National League, has Liriano, 66 going into today's game. Walks per 9, about 5.5 for Liriano. Facing Jonathan Villar to lead off the home half of the first. He's had a good series, added a couple of stolen bases, including one last night. Leader in the big leagues in that department. Some good runners here, base stealing threats in this series. Villar and Starling Marte. And Villar with a line drive to left field, but room for Marte, and that's out number 1.
Well, let's check out a very good defense for the Pittsburgh Pirates, one of the best in the business. They are solid with the glove. You got Marte, McCutchen, and Polanco, and Freese, Mercer, Josh Harrison, and John Jaso around the horn, and Eric Fryer gets the start behind home plate. Your Menards Pirates defense.
And among other things, this defense for Pittsburgh turns more double plays than any team in the National League. Saw John Jaso playing first base full time for the first time in his big league career. Here's Jake Elmore. He'll play anywhere. Played 5 positions for the Brewers, getting his second start with the Brewers in left field this afternoon. Ryan Braun again not in the lineup. The tightness in his right side still an issue, getting better, but not to the point where he can get back into the starting lineup. So Elmore gets the call.
Yeah, but the Brewers have done a pretty good job. You know, 2 of the last 3 games they have been without Braun and Lucroy and have been able to pick up wins. It's got to be very encouraging for Craig Counsell.
It's been a fun and interesting series from the Brewers' perspective, and a little foul tip into the mitts of the catcher Eric Fryer. And there's the first strikeout for Liriano and the second out of the inning.
Liriano 95 with that fastball. He showed a very good changeup. He's got a terrific changeup. Always has, and he had a good slider going against the Brewers in Pittsburgh. And when he gets it going, he can be tough, but he has had a difficult season this year. That big earned run average for him, 538, very uncharacteristic of Francisco Liriano.
Yeah, that's a full 2 runs higher than what he turned in a year ago en route to a 12-7 season. Hernan Perez. Been good period since the All-Star break. That's what he did last night against Jameson Taillon. Powerball home run count. 7 of them now for Hernan Perez.
Yeah, he's been a nice surprise. I mean, not even on the roster to start the year. Brought him up, and you know, now Craig Counsell just can't keep him out of the lineup. He's been so good.
Back in there at third base this afternoon.
There's that changeup we were talking about. About 87 miles an hour.
Mentioned that what he's been doing, talking about Perez since the All-Star break, a dozen games, and look at that, the high average and run production with it. 11 RBIs in the 12 games post All-Star break.
And he surprises you with his speed. He's got those 6 stolen bases since the All-Star break.
And 16 overall in 19 attempts. Very efficient on the base pass. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's been players such as Perez, Scooter Gennett, Kirk Neuenhuis has had a huge homestand. It has been players not necessarily named Braun, Carter, or Lucroy. Darnell Coles, the hitting coach, working with all of those guys, and the results showing an upward tick here is Perez, a line drive into left field. There's the first hit for Milwaukee today.
Getting a lot of pitches to pull. I mean, most of his hits earlier in the season came into right field and up the middle. I think they're pitching a little bit differently and getting pitches to pull and taking advantage of it. Boy, getting bat head out, showing a lot of confidence. Staying back, that high leg kick, good balance and a good finish, and a line drive into left. The beat goes on for Perez. Just keeps hitting.
There's a spray chart there for Hernan. Pulls one in the left field for the Brewers' first hit of the afternoon, and Chris Carter steps in. Been a tough homestand, but he's had just 4 hits on the homestand, but one of them was a 2-run homer on Friday night. Brewers have been able to put runs on the board in the first inning in each of the first 2 games of this series, both courtesy of home runs. Perez last night and Carter on Friday. This is his 23rd big fly of the year. .23 homers. He has driven in 58. Was hitless last night. A 2-out single from Hernan Perez. Liriano out in front, of ball, 2 strikes. Pirates come in still 3 behind in the wild card standings. 1-2 pitch.
Interesting to look at the standings in the Central. Everybody lost in the Central yesterday except for Milwaukee. So the loss yesterday didn't hurt the Pirates too bad.
Well, the Pirates, I mentioned 3 out. You have the Cardinals and the Marlins there right now dead even. There's Perez running. The pitch is taken. And Perez will get a stolen base as the throw kicks away from Josh Harrison. Perez on his way to third. Eddie Cedar's going to wave him around. Here's the throw to the plate. And Perez is in. And the Brewers are on the board.
Well, shades of Billy Hamilton right there. How about Perez? You just talk about, you know, his speed. Ed Cedar being very aggressive, and it paid off. Terrible throw by Fryer. Ball sails on him into center field, and I'm not sure what happened here. I mean, somebody's got to get that baseball. McCutchen gets it. Not a very good throw. Fryer not able to handle it, and the Brewers pick up a gift run. How about that? Running wild here at Miller Park is Hernan Perez. And you saw Mercer get just enough of that baseball to put it in no man's land, and Perez never slows down.
So the Brewers again score in the first inning. They have done that in all 3 games in this series, and Carter is on with a walk. 17th steal for Hernan Perez. The error charge to the catcher Eric Fryer.
And check it out. It's knocked down enough. Watch where it kicks off, and it takes everybody a while to get there. And you can see the throw not handled by Fryer.
Hernan Perez a single, a stolen base, and comes around to score on the throwing error. And yet another good start for Milwaukee. Now Scooter Gennett with Carter the runner at first and 2 men out. Gennett coming in with a 9-game hitting streak and a couple of hits last night. Big RBI knock in that ball game to help give the Brewers a little insurance. Good series.
Really staying on the baseball well against lefties. I mean, not really smoking the baseball all the time, but, you know, being able to put it in play with two strikes. And once in a while able to dump one in front of the outfield.
And big story continuing with Gennett. He continues to hit well against left-handed pitching, and turns on one here but sends it out of play.
It's all about keeping that front shoulder closed and not pulling off, and that's what Scooter's been doing a pretty good job of lately. He's been in the lineup every single day. Lefties, righties, doesn't matter. Craig Counsell's, he gave him an opportunity. He seized it. He's taking advantage of it. Good for him.
A ball, a strike. Gennett against Francisco Liriano. Run across for the Brewers, and they get this going after the first 2 were retired. Villar a liner to left, Elmore a strikeout, Perez a single to left, steals second, and comes all the way around on a throwing error from the catcher Eric Fryer. Here's Carter on via a walk. 2-1 pitch. Gennett goes the other way, and a base hit. It's his good homestand, his good solid season continuing at the plate.
Yeah, Liriano picking up right where he left off his last time out against the Mariners. He got pounded pretty good by the Mariners. 3 1/3 innings, 7 earned runs. And Scooter Gennett just continues his good at bats. Good approach. You saw that front shoulder stay right in there and slices one out there into left field.
So already a meeting at the mound. Pitching coach Ray Searage, a quick trip to the mound. Former Brewer and now Pirates pitching coach Ray Searage.
He's been a Pirate pitching coach for a while now. He's done a great job.
His reputation is very, very good in the game. He's worked with pitchers. He has a veteran out there today, but has a lot of young arms in that starting rotation. Saw one of them last night, Jameson Taillon. But the Brewers have the veteran in some trouble in the first inning. A run across, and now Martin Maldonado
You got a few former Brewer pitchers that are now pitching coaches. You got Bosio over in Chicago, Bob McClure in Philly.
Certain pitcher you caught in a no-no down in Miami, right?
That's right,
The
Juan
Marlins.
Nieves.
Yeah,
that's right.
1-0 the count to Martin Maldonado.
How can you forget about Juan?
Like we saw one of his pitchers almost spin a no-hitter from Adam Conley early in the season, 7 2/3 of no-hit ball, and then was pulled. Good homestand for Maldonado. Driven in 4 runs. A big 3-run homer in the game against the Diamondbacks. Gave the Brewers some space. A series with a Crew won 3 out of 4. Took 1 of 3 against the Cubs, 3 of 4 against the Diamondbacks, and looking for a sweep here in this 3-game set with the Pirates. And Liriano getting that pitch count up there in a hurry.
At 28 already after 2 outs and nobody on. He was able to keep him out there a while.
Three balls, 1 strike. And he lost Maldonado, so the control issues for Liriano popping back up. Second walk he has allowed in the first.
Some early pacing for Clint Hurdle. He's seen it before with Liriano, who has walked more batters than any pitcher in the National League. Already 2 in this inning.
Yeah, that was the 13 strikeouts on July 21st. That obviously gets your attention, but he issued no walks. He's only had a couple games this year where he has been walk free. You have to go back to late April for the other outing without a pass. Here's Kirk Neuenhuis. Big chance for Neuenhuis, who's been showing a lot of pop in that bat in his homestand. The 10 homers, 9 of them have been here. 5 of them have been on this homestand, including one last night. One-0 pitch. Behind on that 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
He's been getting some better swings against lefties. Craig Counsell's put him in there against southpaws lately. That's a head scratcher. Those stats right there.
Amazing splits home and road. One and 2 the count. Brewers head on the road after the game today. Series in San Diego and then on to Arizona. Bases loaded for Kirk Neuenhuis as Liriano ready with a 1-2 pitch. And he strikes him out. So a couple of strikeouts for Liriano, but the Brewers get a run. Hernan Perez using that base stealing ability. Gets himself his 17th steal of the year and comes all the way around on a throwing error. Another good start for the home team. It's 1-0 Brewers after 1.
chomping down the ice cream treat. Hey, there's only 2 free shirt Fridays left this summer, so make sure you're here at the ballpark on Friday, August 12th, as all fans in attendance for the Brewers matchup against the Reds will get a Milwaukee's Icon t-shirt courtesy of Wisconsin Harley-Davidson.
Check this out, huh? And we don't even have this one on a hanger, as we have had in the past. But this is nice.
I was talking to a lot of people around the ballpark. A lot of people hang up their T-shirts.
We don't.
No.
Well, I know I don't. You said you don't.
No, I don't.
This is nice. Got the ballpark pup represented. One of the great euchre calls. Get up, get out of here, gone. The ball and glove hat. It's good. Maybe that's one that you would hang up.
No.
No?
No, not that it's not nice. I mean, I don't have a T-shirt that's hanging up in my closet.
I don't either. I really don't. A ball, 2 strikes to David Freese. Leading off the second inning. That shirt has style. If I ever were to hang a T-shirt up, though, that would be the one.
That would be it.
That would be the one. Matt Garza up through the first inning, giving up just a walk to Gregory Polanco. As Freese, Harrison, and Mercer here in the top of the second inning.
Really establishing inside is Matt Garza. A lot of pitches, a lot of fastballs in.
Garza's 1 win since becoming active again. That was since the middle of June. The 1 win coming against the Nationals here in Milwaukee on June 25th. As Freese stings one into center field, a base hit. And there's the first hit here for the Pirates today.
Yeah, left that one out over the plate, and Freese able to center on it and hit it hard into center field. The best pitch in baseball is that fastball, and when you can get it inside and jam hit, it really opens up everything else. Opens up the slider, the curveball, fastballs away. And Garza really making an effort to do that today.
Freese has been a good pickup. 1-year deal with the Pirates this year. Take a look at this good Sunday afternoon crowd at the ballpark. Good crowds throughout the weekend here in Milwaukee. Josh Harrison had a couple of hits last night. Garza did take a nice step in a positive direction against Arizona. He left the game with the lead. He went 6 innings and gave up 5 hits and 3 runs.
About the best he's felt since coming back from the DL. Said he had enjoyed himself out there in the mound again like he did in the old days, and that's always a positive when you're feeling good about what you're doing out there in the mound.
A big boost for this Brewers team as we get ready to head into August. We've had terrific performances, especially for a while now, from Junior Guerra, Zach Davies, certainly Jimmy Nelson. As the body of work has been pretty good for him. There's a big curve from Garza that missed. Two and 1 the count to the second baseman Josh Harrison. David Freese a single to center to lead things off here in the second. Garza walked Gregory Polanco in the first, but no harm was done. Able to retire Andrew McCutchen and Starling Marte after the 1-out walk. And a fly ball, shallow right field. That's Scooter Gennett going out, and he will make the catch.
Boy, that's a long way for Scooter to go. And Neuenhuis playing deep out there and right, not able to get there. But Scooter Gennett, he's been doing a really good job of going out into short right field and making catches like that. Check out where he is. He's shaded up the middle. Neuenhuis, no chance for him to get there. And Scooter Gennett hauls it in over the shoulder. Well done. Nice play by Gennett. Never taking his eye off of it, making the call and gets the out.
And that looked pretty easy.
That's kind of a gift out right there on a 3-1 pitch. Harrison pops out weakly to second.
Here's Jordy Mercer. He was 1 for 4 last night. Garza drops a curve in there for strike 1. After today's game, the Pirates move on to Atlanta. 3-game series with the Braves. Blocked from Maldonado.
Very solid behind home plate, and Maldonado very close to getting a lot of playing time the rest of the way this year. That is, of course, if Jonathan Lucroy gets traded in the next couple of days, you figure Maldonado is going to get the lion's share of chances behind home plate.
A ball, a strike to Jordy Mercer. Well, Maldonado had a lot of work last year with the injuries, plural, to Jonathan Lucroy, with the broken toe early in the season. Concussion he suffered later. Just joining us, Lucroy, though still a Brewer. Exercised his right to nix a proposed trade to the Cleveland Indians.
A lot of other teams in the in play, though, for the services of Jonathan Lucroy.
3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon Central Time. That's the non-waiver trading deadline. So Pirates made a move over the weekend. They sent their closer Mark Melancon to the Nationals. So activity going on throughout baseball as Mercer slaps a ground ball to Jonathan Villar. Here's Gennett for 1, and that's all they'll get. Freeze is erased, and there are 2 men out. Mercer, the new runner at first. Here is Eric Fryer. He gets the call for Francisco Cervelli today. Pirates got him off waivers from the Cardinals his second time around in his Pittsburgh organization. 30-year-old. Originally a Brewers draft pick back in 2007. Was sent to the Yankees a couple of years later.
They're giving Fryer another chance with Liriano on the mound. Fryer caught that game against the Brewers in Pittsburgh that Liriano pitched and had a good day at the plate.
He has been pretty good in his brief time with the Cardinals, or excuse me, with the Pirates from the Cardinals organization. Count evens, a ball, a strike. First time around with the Pirates was after the Yankees moved him to the Pittsburgh organization in 2009, and part of that deal was a Wisconsin native, Eric Hinsley, out of Menasha. 1-1 pitch to Fryer.
Pretty good pitch right there.
Two balls, 1 strike. Mercer, the runner at first. That will even the count.
A lot of fastballs for Matt Garza first time through. There's some curveballs to Josh Harrison, but everything else has pretty much been fastball. Trying to establish that pitch first time through. We'll see what he does second time through that Pirate order. There's a slider.
And the count runs full. Leadoff single from Freese. Harrison a pop-up. Mercer hit into a fielder's choice. Payoff pitch coming to Eric Fryer. He'll need another one. Garza in year 3 of his 4-year deal with the Brewers. Looking for his 2nd win this year. Season that for him didn't start until June 14th. Come back from the injury suffered in an exhibition game in Houston just before the regular season began. And Fryer is swinging a miss. Busted inside as Garza gets through the inning, and he has kept the Pirates off the board. 1-0 Milwaukee.
Made some adjustments. You see early in the year, this was May 27. Look at the hand position for Keon Broxton. He and Darnell Cole, Jason Lane making some adjustments. This is what he's been doing since his last call-up. He was working on that down in Colorado Springs with a lot of success, and it seems as though he's using more of his hands, not as much of a body swing that he was doing early in the season. And what I mean by that is a body swing, you're pulling off a lot of pitches and really not able to cover the outside corner well. With the hands lower, he's really throwing the hands at the baseball and has been much better at staying on the pitch away.
And that video there, that was a triple to left last night. I mean, this guy can fly, and he certainly showed anybody who wondered. But the work at Darnell Coles with Broxton, and showing some signs that that's paying off as that average is moving up. A guy like him, he gets on base, and he is a serious threat to run. And he's been good with that as a Brewer. 8 stolen bases in 9 attempts. Francisco Liriano gave up a run, couple of walks in the first inning, and Broxton swings, sends one to center field, and that is way back and gone. Andrew McCutchen could only watch as Broxton belts one to center, and it's 2-0.
So just a little adjustment, right? I mean, a little adjustment like that is a big deal until you work on it and make it feel like it is natural. You can see the direction a lot of his hits. I mean, center field. Check out, not a lot of body action here. A little high leg kick, not much of one, but all hands, and that just really quick to the baseball and knocks it out of here to center field.
A 2-0 lead for the Brewers. Talk about the speed, has a little pop too.
Yeah, you really root for a guy like Broxton, working hard, and you know the kid's been back and forth 4 different times, and now finally showing some results. What works for you in the minor leagues sometimes doesn't work all the time in the major leagues. And the adjustments he's made have paid off this time up.
Fun player to watch. No scuffles his first time up, that 0 for 24. Long time ago.
Ball was crushed.
It was. Got out of here kind of quickly.
Wonder who that he was talking to. That was just like you. Perez. Yep, just like you. Boy, it's great to watch this team. These young guys really coming of age and starting to have some success. And that's what's fun about this season. Might not be a playoff team, but they have been a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, they. Perez home run last night. And it's the fun part of this. Craig Counsell in spring training says someone's going to surprise us. Someone, us meaning the Brewers there. It says, who's that going to be? There will be surprises along the way. And
didn't know there was going to be 6 of them.
No, there's multiple.
Right?
You're right.
2 starting pitchers have been a nice surprise.
Yeah, everybody had Junior Guerra in the pool of guys who would be real difference makers in the rotation.
Hernan Perez. I mean, the progress of Scooter Gennett has been fun to watch.
Garza with a chopper towards short. That's Mercer charging, and that's out number 1. Back to the top of the order, and Jonathan Villar. Not sure how many had Villar as a 300 hitter. Guy with an on-base percentage of 378 right now.
Yeah, and he's another one. Nice surprise.
3 hits in the series, including 1 last night. Showing bunt and takes a strike from Liriano. Brewers with runs in each of the first 2 innings. Hernan Perez coming around to score. He stole second, throwing error, and came all the way around. And here in the second, Keon Broxton a home run to center. There you see the upward trend for Jonathan Villar, and still a couple of months of season to go here.
Yeah, 2 months left. He's already got 429 plate appearances. A lot of hits, a lot of walks. On base percentage near 380. Young guy with good patience at the plate.
A ball, 2 strikes. Chopper foul. One of the amazing things, we've talked about it during the weekend, the Brewers' dominance here at the Pirates overall, and especially here at Miller Park. 63 of their last 80 games here in Milwaukee, the Brewers have beaten Pittsburgh, including 8 in a row. Villar, a swing and a miss. And that is out number 2 here in the second. Breaking ball from Liriano, taking care of Jonathan Villar, and now Jake Elmore. Seventh time that he's been in the starting lineup. Started at 5 different positions. All over the outfield. Also has a start at second and a start at third.
He'd probably catch if you need him to.
Done it before. He was with the Astros. 1 year where he played everywhere. The course of the season, all 9 spots. There was a pretty good catch once. We've had a couple of good catches in the stands here in this series. Check this out. I think yeah, I thought maybe someone got it on the rebound, but he did save somebody from getting drilled. So if nothing else, turns into a goaltender there, the beer tender.
Yeah, at least one fan is going to be able to enjoy the rest of the day.
Yep.
Those guys work hard.
They do.
Those guys lugging that beer up and down those stairs.
Has the towel at the ready. Ball 2 strikes to Elmore. Strike 3 called. Liriano. It's back-to-back strikeouts here in the second, but the inning started well for the Brewers. Keon Broxton talked about his speed. Also has a little of this, some power as he sends one over the wall in center. It's 2-0 Milwaukee after 2.
You know, it's when you're dealing with life-changing, altering decisions like this, there are a lot of different factors that come into play. Mostly it's family, and the other half of that is your future in this game, your career. So there's a lot of different things to take in, and whenever those things don't line up, then decisions have to be made that might be tough, but that's the way it's got to be because, you know, in my eyes, we have to look out for our best interests, and that's it.
If you're just checking in, the news was starting to break over late last night and overnight that the Brewers and Cleveland Indians had a trade in the works, and Jonathan Lucroy had a veto power in this case, and he exercised that. Look at Craig Counsell. Counsell addressed the media this morning, and he's not far removed from a player as Liriano leads off here in the third, bobbled by Carter, but plenty of time to recover for the first out. Counsell not far removed from being a player, and I think maybe Rock. I mean, I can't say I know Craig all that well. You know him extremely well. He seems to stay pretty flat lined. He's certainly not going to overreact to anything. Saying, okay, he's still a Brewer right now, not in the lineup. He's still a Brewer, and you move forward until someone tells you otherwise, which is pretty much what Lucroy was saying too.
Yeah, exactly, and he's not playing because the Brewers don't want Lucroy to risk injury, and then nobody's going to want to trade for him, but. Lucroy is looking out for his best interest. The Brewers are looking out for their best interest, and the other teams in Major League Baseball are looking to make that deal, are looking to their best interest. So everybody's trying to get something out of this, and the deal with the Cleveland Indians just didn't line up for Lucroy like he would like it to, and he exercised his veto power. That's one of, I think, 6 or 7 teams that Lucroy has that veto power over, and Indians one of them, and we'll see what happens. I'm sure there are other suitors out there, other teams really looking to make a deal for Lucroy. Who wouldn't be? A team that wants a good quality catcher. He can hit, and certainly a good clubhouse guy, a good high caliber character person. And Lucroy, the word or the story of Jonathan Lucroy in the next couple of days has not yet been written.
25 hours away right now from the non-waiver trade deadline. 3 o'clock Central tomorrow afternoon. 2 balls, no strikes to John Jaso. Matt Garza getting through the first 2 innings, giving up just 1 hit so far. There has been some other trade movement overnight, and it includes Zach Duke. A couple years ago, he was a pretty important part to that Brewers bullpen. Got himself a nice deal with the White Sox, and the White Sox have moved him to the St. Louis Cardinals. And the Cleveland Indians did get Andrew Miller from the Yankees. So the Indians trying to be all in as best they can. They lead the AL Central, and they pick up a terrific reliever. Big plus to the bullpen for Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. Zach Duke really has resurrected his career as a reliever. I mean, he did a tremendous job in that Brewers bullpen. He's been good since, and good for him. I mean, it really didn't work out for him as a starter, particularly here. I mean, he was a highly thought of starting pitching prospect here with the Pirates. Just didn't work out.
3 balls, 2 strikes to John Jaso. Here it comes.
Remember those 3 left-handers that the Pirates had many years ago was Duke, Mahalam, and Gorzelani, and everybody thought that those 3 guys are going to be in the Pirates rotation for years and years. Just didn't happen.
Payoff pitch again from Matt Garza, and this is popped up. Coming over is Jonathan Villar. Or excuse me, that's Hernan Perez out there in shallow left for the second out. Talking trades, get an update of some things that are going on as we check in with Telly Hughes.
That's right, Matt. You guys were talking about the movement in baseball, so we'll check in with our greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. As you guys mentioned, the Cleveland Indians weren't able to complete the trade for Jonathan Lucroy, but they did get Yankees reliever Andrew Miller. The Cardinals got Zach Duke, as you guys mentioned, from the Chicago White Sox, and the Yankees acquired Tyler Clippard from the Arizona Diamondbacks. We just saw Clippard and the D-backs here in Milwaukee, and Clippard is now a Yankee.
That's interesting. He took over as the closer to Clippard after they traded Brad Ziegler a few weeks ago.
Are you going to say it, or do you want me to say it?
You can go ahead. I wouldn't want to take credit or blame in this case. Go ahead. With Tyler Clippard with the Yankees, that makes him.
Now they have a Yankee Clippard.
Rim shot.
Yeah. As opposed to, Joe DiMaggio, the Yankee Clipper,
yeah.
For those who didn't know what we were talking about.
Be here the rest of the afternoon.
But
tip generously.
Yeah, the Atlanta Braves picking up Matt Kemp. That's a bit of a surprise, huh?
It is.
I mean, veteran guy going to a young team, rebuilding, and I got a feeling the Atlanta Braves have something up their sleeve in the offseason. They got a ton of money to spend. They cleared a lot of money off their books. I think the Atlanta Braves think they're going to be back in it very quickly with the money that they have to spend. That's the only reason they would have done that.
Moving into a new ballpark next year.
Somebody to hit behind Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, Padres team and the Brewers open a series with the Padres. That roster is going to look a little different as opposed to what it looked like just a handful of days ago. Breaking ball, Polanco will lift one back into right field. Going back is Neuenhuis, and he'll watch it as Polanco with another home run, his second in as many games, and this gets the Pirates on the board.
It was a breaking ball just like last night. Will Smith hung a slider and Polanco hit it out. This time a curveball to Polanco. Might want to rethink the breaking pitch to this guy. There's the grip. Here's the pitch. Watch where it ends up in the strike zone, and he knocks it out of here. Pretty much the same spot that he hit the home run last night. Last night on a curveball from Will Smith, or a slider from Will Smith. This time a curveball.
Here's Andrew McCutchen. Struck out in the first. Home run, the 5th that Garza has allowed this season. A tough outing there in that department was at Washington on July 6th. Mentioned Polanco, second homer in as many games. That's 3 in his last 4. So the right fielder getting into a bit of a power groove right now. 15th home run of the season. Garza out in front, a ball, 2 strikes, looking to finish off Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen not an all-star this year, but he had been for 5 straight years. MVP in the National League 3 years ago. And he's a regular, not just as an all-star, but a regular in the MVP conversation. Top 5 over the last 4 seasons. Offensive numbers are down to this point. A swing and a miss as Garza gets the strikeout. His 3rd of the day. And that'll do it for the Pirates. They pick up a run on a Polanco homer. It's 2-1 Milwaukee. Hupy and Abraham, 1-800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham, tell them you mean business. Always fun when you can interact like that. Future Brewers, perhaps, with the current Brewers. 2-1 Milwaukee, and a good crowd here at Miller Park on a Sunday afternoon. Bottom of the 3rd we go. Carsoup.com trivia question. On this date in 1990, which right-handed pitcher recorded his 300th win at County Stadium? A good one for you. Hernan Perez leading things off and going after the first pitch from Francisco Liriano. You on that question? You know that one?
I think I know it.
Pretty good idea. I figured you would. Perez laying one down. First base side. Liriano, tough play. Not in time. Hernan Perez just pushing one up the line, and a bunt single here in the 3rd.
Yeah, perfect job by Perez. You get it by the pitcher. Particular left-hander is going to fall off toward 3rd base a little bit, but a pretty good job by Liriano to get there, and that's going to be very close. Wow, does he get the bag, or you saw Perez slide right by the bag? Does he touch it as he goes by first? You don't have to hold on to the bag.
It's one of those deals, Rock, you're better off just running through there, right? Instead of,
you can see 50-50, if you could read lips. 50-50 chance. Question is it worth it? Nope.
So Clint Hurdle says play on. And Hernan Perez 2 for 2 here today. He reached on a single to left in the 1st, stole 2nd, and came around to score on a throwing error from the catcher Eric Fryer. Ball trickled out into right center field, and Perez motored around third and beat the throw to the plate. Carter walked in the first. Pirates picking up a run in the top of the third on the Polanco homer. Carter has 23 of them for the Brewers, most recently on Friday night. Milwaukee with 4 hits, and Perez is running, and the pitch is in the dirt, and Fryer won't even bother. So Perez with his second stolen base of the game.
Yeah, picked a good pitch, a changeup down in the dirt. And no chance for the Pirate catcher. That's a good jump right there. They must have something on Liriano. That's Ed Cedars' department. Picking out something that pitcher does to tip off if he's going to home plate. That's the second really good jump Perez has gotten today.
RBI chance here for Chris Carter. Well, Hernan Perez continues to be so efficient in many areas, not the least of which is in the stolen base department. 2 of them today, 18 for 21 now this year. Liriano with the 3-0. That's a 4-pitch walk. So Carter on via the walk for the second straight time. Liriano came into this game issuing more walks than anyone in the National League, and he's given up 3 so far today.
Certainly nothing close to where he was in his start back in Pittsburgh. I mean, he was getting some very quick outs, quick innings, 3 up, 3 down, a lot of strikeouts. As you talked about, no walks, and much different story today, at least so far.
Here's Scooter Gennett. He's singled in the first inning. That gives him a 10-game hitting streak. And going after the first pitch, little blue batting to right field. That's going to drop a base hit. Here comes Perez, held up by Eddie Cedar, and the bases are loaded with nobody out. And Scooter Gennett, he is pushing 300 now, just a little shy of it against left-handed pitching this year.
Scooter needs to buy a lottery ticket. I mean, that ball in on his hands, it blows up his bat and making contact. Look at the bat. I mean, shrapnel coming from that bat, dumps out into right field, and he's had a few hits on the homestand like that, but that's a result of making contact and putting a good approach at the plate. Well, bases loaded, nobody out.
Yeah, I cheated Scooter. He's 303. Shade above 300 against lefties. Here's Martin Maldonado. Chance for a big inning for Milwaukee. There's a ground ball to Jordy Mercer. They'll get one. They'll trade the run for the double play, and that's what happens. So Perez is in. Double play, no RBI, but it's a 3-1 ball game.
And once again, Liriano getting in on some hands and got his double play. You're right. I mean, the Pirates would trade that 2 outs for a run any day with the bases loaded, nobody out. And with Maldonado running, it's pretty much of a sure thing. That's a good turn by Harrison. Had to get out of the way. Gennett right on top of him.
2 outs. Carter the runner at third. For Kirk Neuenhuis. And Craig Counsell coming out.
Man, want to make sure that Harrison was on the bag when he had the baseball. Yeah, you have to have contact with the bag. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts. You have to solidly be on the bag. As the ball gets to the glove, check it out. Does he have the glove, have the foot on the bag? Oh, yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does. At first not, and then it came back down.
Well, it came up and then down. I'm not sure why they're replaying that. It might have been off initially, but it came back down that foot clearly in time to get the out at second base.
Mike Winters, the home plate umpire, is the crew chief. Mike Muslinski, the second base umpire.
This shouldn't take too long. I'm not sure why it's even taking this long.
So at the moment, a double play. The Brewers challenging the force at second. Harrison's foot was not on the bag in time, but as Rock mentioned, the replay seemed to show.
I mean, clearly
they're good. So a double play it is. And there are 2 outs in the third. And the Pirates turn more double plays than any team in the National League, and they just turned another one here. 111 now. But a run across, the Brewers have scored in each of the first 3 innings. Here's Neuenhuis. I've seen the power from Neuenhuis on this homestand with the 5 home runs. He has hit 400 on this stand coming into the game. Struck out to end the first inning this afternoon. No balls, 2 strikes. One single from Perez, a walk to Carter, a single from Jeanette. Maldonado grounding into a 6-4-3 double play, but a run scored. Brewers getting to Liriano. 5 hits, including a home run from Keon Broxton in the second. Check out that Powerball home run leaderboard. You see Carter leading the way with the 23, but with Neuenhuis with his homestand, 5 home runs in this homestand, gets him on that home run leaderboard. 10 of them, 9 here at Miller Park. 1-2 pitch. Their starting call in right field today for Neuenhuis, with Broxton getting some good looks out in center this week for Milwaukee. Chance to get some daily playing time. Liriano has issued 3 walks already and a full count to Neuenhuis. Payoff pitch. Ground ball to Harrison. And that will end the inning. But another scoring inning here for Milwaukee. And we are through 3 with the Brewers leading 3-1.
Top of the fourth inning, and on Saturday, August 27th, Miller Park will be rocking to hit songs like Beer Money and Something About a Truck as country music star Kip Moore performs a free post-game concert presented by 94.5 KTI Country. That's following the Brewers matchup with these Pirates. That's going to be fun.
I am looking forward to that.
You coming?
Yeah, I am. I think
gonna
I'm
be
here.
here?
I think I'm here.
You get an invite.
I am in. Something About a Truck.
Yep.
Beer Money. Those are two good songs. He's got a lot more where that came from. I like that. Here's Starling Marte leading things off. Is that maybe a little more in our wheelhouse as opposed to some 90s night trivia, which went very well here last night, by the way.
Right.
Big crowd, a lot of fun.
I like country music.
Oh, yeah. Marte smacks a single to center. And that's his 5th hit of the series, his first today.
Last year, Joe Nichols was here.
Yeah, that was out. I was sorry to miss that show. It was good. Good time had by all, from what I've heard. Here's David Freese. Back in the National League. He's had that terrific run with the Cardinals and went on to the Angels. Signed a 1-year deal here with the Pirates. And he's been a good get for Pittsburgh with the 10 homers and 42 RBIs.
He's moved back and forth between first base over at third base, and very serviceable defender, but he can hit.
No doubt, at least at this point, best known by far for that postseason run for the Cardinals in 2011. 33 years old now. Was an all-star in 2012.
And a real good hitter when he's got the count in his favor, 2-0. You can sit fastball, and you got to be careful here.
And there's a chance for VR. Jeanette for one. On to first, and that's a double play.
Yeah, thank you very much right there. Garza took just enough off of it. That was 91 miles an hour. You know, to get him a little bit out in front and get the double play ball. Good pitch by Garza. Takes just enough of it. Gets on top of it, and you can see David Freese puts his head down knowing I just hit into a double play on a 2-0 count. Good pitch by Matt. Sometimes it's not all about rearing back and throwing as hard as you can. You take a little bit off, you get a lot of outs that way.
That was exactly what Garza accomplished there, getting Freese to bounce into the 6-4-3. The base is empty. 2 men out for Josh Harrison. Harrison, an all-star a couple of years ago. He's in the 2nd year of a 4-year contract. An all-star season leading to the deal at 315 as a Pirate, and a bouncing ball. A little one-hopper for VR, and that'll do it for the Pirates in the 4th inning. Leadoff single, erased on a double play, and Garza looking good. Bottom of the 4th we go. Our bottom of the fourth here at Miller Park as the Brewers lead the Pirates. Garbage time with Katie Nolan has been called epic, witty, and refreshing, and the future of sports TV. Don't miss an all-new episode of the Emmy-winning sensation. Wednesday at 11 p.m. Central, only on FS1. Keon Broxton leading things off 8-9-1 for the Brew Crew against Francisco Liriano. Broxton doing some damage against his former team, the Pirates, going over that Jason Rogers trade. Second home run of the year. Drilled it over the wall in center in the second inning. Talking, said fourth call up, making some things happen. You see what the Brewers center fielder has done. Hitting for average, showing that speed, throwing walks. It's that little adjustment Rocky talked about, showing some good signs of paying off.
I think adjustments mechanics wise, and I think just feeling a little bit more comfortable because he's getting a lot of playing time. Hitting over 350 in his 6 games before today. That since his fourth call up, Liriano gets him on a good slider.
Out number 1 in the fourth. 5 strikeouts now for Francisco Liriano, who had 13 in his last start against the Brewers on July 21st. Here's Garza, giving up just the 1 run on 3 hits so far. Garza with 1 hit on the year, 1 for 13. Brewers have scored in each of the first 3 innings. And on Perez, using some speed to disrupt the Pirates' defense. A solo homer from Keon Broxton. And then Perez led off the 3rd with a bunt single. Brewers had the makings of a big inning. Scored just the 1 run. A little chopper back to the mound. Out number 2. In the 3rd, the Brewers had the bases loaded with nobody out but a double play. And a ground ball ended the inning. Perez scoring on the double play. 2 outs with the bases empty as the lineup turns back over for Jonathan Villar. That's knocked down by Liriano. Look what I knocked down, and the throw over to first is in time. A little bad luck there for Villar. Liriano puts him down in order. We are through 4.
The top of the 5th inning, time to check in with the crew in the community. Hitting for the cycle. Brewers Community Foundation's benefit bike ride for novice and experienced bikers alike is coming up on Saturday, August 13th. The ride includes 4 routes for riders to choose from, all of which begin and end at Miller Park. Riders will enjoy a fun day in the saddle, followed by a tailgate party and tickets to that evening's game versus the Cincinnati Reds. Proceeds will once again benefit local nonprofits in the greater Milwaukee area. Register today at brewers.com/bike ride.
All right. Thank you very much, Telly. As we move to the 5th inning, Matt Garza has given up a home run to Gregory Polanco. That's the only run allowed through the first 4. Bottom of the order here for the Pirates. Jordy Mercer leads things off, hit into a fielder's choice in the 2nd. Crew trying to get the sweep. 6 wins in the first 9 games in this homestand. Matt Garza looking for his 2nd win of the year. And he has Mercer out in front.
Yeah, they might not be winning every game, but I'll tell you, they're giving a lot of teams, a lot of the top-notch teams in the National League, everything they can handle. In that Cubs series that started this homestand, good work.
Mercer with a base hit back up the middle. Yeah, that was a series where the Cubs won 2 of 3, but you just think back of that game last Sunday where the Brewers had a very good start, had a chance to bust the game open, couldn't do it, and then the Cubs with that powerful offense came back and won 2 out of 3. But yeah, you're right, the Brewers here at home, they're 4 over 500 here at Miller Park for Craig Counsell.
It's not often that they get blown out in games. I mean, they are in every game. Sometimes tonight they would get over the top, but it's been very entertaining, and they're giving the Pirates all they can handle here in this series.
Hey, Pirates team that's still chasing a playoff spot. Kirk Neuenhuis, part of the crowd of newer faces, getting an opportunity here with the Brewers and putting up some nice numbers. Hernan Perez been good all along, but especially so since the All-Star break. Here's Eric Fryer. Just interesting to see all the storylines with this team as it tries to build back into contention. The play of Jonathan Villar. Fryer is swing and a miss. Played his college ball at Ohio State, did Fryer. He is from Columbus, Ohio. Made his big league debut 5 years ago. The Harvard of Central Ohio.
Okay, I'll give you that.
You were just waiting for that. Do you have any Clemson guys on this roster? Diamondbacks had a couple.
Yeah, they did.
Two and two to Fryer.
Well, you're a Badger guy, aren't you?
I'm a Badger guy. The Buckeye thing, that was another lifetime.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
It's always fun when you get introduced and they tell you where you went to school and then you get booed around here.
Yeah.
I just say I went to Ohio State. I didn't have the grades to get into Wisconsin, so. Ohio State got a pulse good.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, see? Kind of neutralizes the crowd, doesn't it?
It does.
When you say that.
Yeah. Works fairly well most of the time.
How are we looking at Madison this year?
Hey, it's going to be fun. Tough schedule. That's probably the big storyline among all the others. Actually, what it is, it's a schedule that you used to always play in the Big Ten. You know, they don't have Rutgers and Maryland in the schedule this year, so I guess Nebraska's kind of a newbie still 5 years in. But yeah, it'll be Be a tough go, but it'd be fun though. Paul Chryst getting ready for his second year. Great guy, terrific coach.
Ohio State's at Camp Randall, right?
They are, for a night game, and that will be fun. Fryer with a bouncing ball. Here comes Perez on the charge. Got to hurry, and that one gets away from Carter. Sails past him. And on his way to third is Jordy Mercer.
All right, looked like the throw was all right, maybe a little bit high, but I think Chris Carter just missed that one. I'm not sure. Fryer gets down that line pretty well for a catcher. He winds it up, over his head, but I don't know. There's going to be an error on somebody.
And it started to tail away from Carter.
Yeah, throw a little bit more up the line than I had originally thought. So not a good throw by Perez, and that's going to cost, I guess, Perez an error. Clinton Hurdle, I guess, checking on the ground rules here.
He's going to come out to meet with the crew chief, Mike Winters. Couldn't tell in the first look where exactly that ended up after sailing away from Carter in play, and it was. It will be an error. E5. So the Pirates have something going here in the fifth inning. A 3-1 Brewers lead. Francisco Liriano, who's having a good year at the plate. He came in 300, 12 hits for him. 0 for 1 today. In his last outing against the Mariners, he homered against King Felix.
Man, this is why he's not up there to bunt, right? Let him swing away.
He takes a strike. It was a rough day on the mound for Liriano, but check this out. That's his second homer in as many seasons. And a park that kind of hard to get it out.
Yeah, didn't get too many at bats. He only lasted 3 1/3.
Yeah, that was the bad news for him. But Liriano, that was his second career homer. He went deep off Matt Latos last year. Oh, a ball and 2 strikes. Garza versus Liriano. A wave and a miss. And that is out number 1 as Garza gets the strikeout.
Maybe he should have bunted. And now the Brewers can get out of this inning with a double play ball.
The Brewers turned 1 in the 4th inning after a leadoff single from Marte. Freeze on a 2-0 pitch bounced into a double play. Here's John Jaso. Cars are trying to protect this 2-run lead that he has. In there for a strike to the first baseman. Mercer led off with a single to center. Fryer reached on a throwing error, and that's how the Pirates have runners at the corners. Jaso has been scuffling. 0 for his last 14. Average sitting at 258.
Yeah, it didn't start yesterday's game.
Yeah, they had David Freese over there, and Freese ended up being tossed. Wasn't happy about a strike 2 called on that bat that ended with a strikeout. He was chirping after the at bat. Freese's night came to an early end.
And then when Jaso's spot came up late in the game, he got pinch hit for it.
That's right. Matt Joyce came in for him. Player with more pinch hits than anyone in the National League. Joyce, 12 of them. A ball, 2 strikes to Jaso. Garza trying to work out of some trouble here in the 5th inning. We got a strikeout of Liriano. 2-2 count to Jaso. There it comes. Little chopper to Jeanette. He'll flip to VR. They'll get the force. A run will score as Mercer is in, so it's a 1-run game. 4-6 on the fielder's choice. 2 men out.
And not hit hard enough to be able to turn the double play, but he did get the ground ball. Jaso with an RBI. Garza really doing a good job today pitching inside. He really has. It's been a common theme with this Brewers starting rotation for a while now. Guys pitching inside and doing it effectively.
And this rotation so much improved right now. Early in the year it was Jimmy Nelson and that was about it. And Junior Guerra has emerged. Zach Davies. Chase Anderson got the job done yesterday. 5 innings. He picked up his 2nd straight win. Good bullpen help yesterday. There's Anderson. Pitch count gets up there with Chase, but he's been effective. He gave up just the 1 run last night in 5 innings, 4 hits. Polanco looks at ball 2.
And which is why it's important for the guy that pitches after Chase to be able to get relatively deep into the game. You know, minimum 6 is what you would think Craig Counsell's looking for, because Chase hasn't really been able to pitch too deep in the game.
One of the Brewers pitchers on this homestand, the collective ERA is 2.33. That'll give you a chance. They had the one clunker, and that was sloppy defense. A long night on Wednesday against Arizona, but Guerra with the 8 2/3 that he worked on Friday night. Just a terrific outing. Polanco swings and lifts one deep to right field, and it is a foul ball. Polanco put a charge into that. He has homered already in this game. He homered last night. Just hooked foul here.
Yep. Yeah, by about a foot.
Thought he was in business for extra bases.
Yeah, a little bit off the end of the bat. That's why it hooked.
2 balls, 2 strikes to the right fielder.
That's another breaking pitch, and he has been all over the breaking pitch in this series.
Two. Strike 3 called. Back to the fastball, and that'll do it. Polanco not so sure. But it's a big punch out for Matt Garza as the Pirates pick up a run. But a nasty pitch there from Garza keeps the Pirates from preventing further damage. 1-run lead. Brewers keep the lead 3-2 as we are halfway through this series and homestand finale. Carsoup.com trivia question on this date in 1990. Which right-handed pitcher recorded win number 300 at County Stadium? There's your answer. Nolan Ryan. All-time board. Career wins. Cy Young still safe after all these years.
Yeah. I think that one's pretty safe, that record.
So, yeah, in pretty good shape.
Most wins, most losses.
Remember that I was here for that Nolan Ryan game.
For a moment?
I was in attendance for that. That was, yeah, obviously an incredible career, unbelievable pitcher in his time. And it's one of those baseball things where you know history's being made, and as much as you root for the home team, the crowd at County Stadium appreciated what it was witnessing with Ryan and hit the milestone here.
So you're saying you were rooting for the Texas Rangers?
No, I was the exception.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I booed him. I booed him off the mound. Get out of here, you stiff. You'd never get me out.
I'm just trying to figure it out, that's all.
No.
I get you. You want to be part of something that's historic.
Jake Elmore. And that one got him. And he's feeling it, but he doesn't want you to know it. Hit by a pitch, Elmore, and that's how the bottom half of the fifth begins.
Well, you'll take that any day after a couple of punch-outs, right?
Yes, sir.
Especially on a 1-2 count. Well, did it? It's a good act if it didn't.
Yeah, certainly not a direct hit.
A glancing blow, perhaps.
It's quick thinking. Here's Hernan Perez. Seeing the entire offensive package here from Perez last couple of nights. See the 7 homers, number 7 coming last night. A bunt single his last trip. He's having a day, 2 for 2 with a couple of stolen bases. Now Elmore is picked off. They caught him leaning, and Lariano got him. Out number 1.
Yeah, that was really the amazing thing about the jumps that Perez has been getting today. I mean, he's been really either guessing right or they have something on Lariano, and maybe Lariano changed something around a little bit, but that was a nice move. I think Elmore might have taken off a little bit too soon. Maybe not, but clearly out at first base. Brewers are without challenges.
Yeah, they used it earlier on here today. Last inning, or third inning, I should say. A ball, 2 strikes to Hernan Perez. And a swing and a miss. Lariano now with 6 strikeouts. Trying to settle down after giving up runs in each of the first 3 innings. Corey Knebel getting loose for Milwaukee. There's Chris Carter. Throwing a couple of walks so far this afternoon. Free and easy swing, but he has used that, showing the power, launching one on Friday night. Well over the wall and left.
Lariano really hasn't been too aggressive trying to, and throwing him strikes today. Being very careful with the big fella.
And continues to be. 2 balls, 1 strike. Carter swings and a drive. Center field, and that's number 24 for Chris Carter.
Well, I guess he should have walked him again. And now you know why he was being careful with him. Well, that was a bullet out of here to center. It didn't take very long to get out of here. It was a 2-1 pitch and something right down the middle of the plate, and Carter puts a nice swing on it and lines it out of here to center field. And well, maybe the beginning of a nice stretch, a nice hot stretch for Chris Carter. Hit a changeup out of the ballpark.
Second home run of the weekend for Carter, and Scooter Gennett steps in. 24 bombs now for Carter, 18 at home. It's the most in the majors. Here's At the Plate, presented by Wendy's. Scooter Gennett continuing to hit the lefties. A couple of singles for him here this afternoon. Broken bat bloop to right his last trip. He's been hitting the bloops and the bombs.
Yeah, a lot of base hits, average up to 274.
303 now against left-handers. There you see the splits. And who would have thought? But Craig Counsell gave him some early chances against left-handed pitching, and he's given the manager reason to keep running him out there against lefties. He'll take a called third strike here. And still has a 2-hit day going. So the Brewers showing some more power. Earlier on, it was Keon Broxton back in the second. And here in the fifth, it was Chris Carter taking this changeup and drilling it over the wall in center to give the Brewers a 2-run lead.
By 2 as we head to the 6th inning here at Miller Park. Hey, keep up with the crew wherever you are with MLB.com at bat, the official app of the Brewers, featuring live broadcasts, scoring updates, breaking news, and more. Download At Bat today, free for your smartphone or tablet. A lot of news on the At Bat app right now, I imagine.
Oh yeah, a lot going on. 2-run lead for the Crew. Matt Garza worked the first 5, and now Corey Knebel will go.
Well, I guess Craig Counsell figuring the middle of the Pirates order coming up, third time through for Garza. That's it for him, and Knebel get a fresh arm in there. Been a while for Knebel. Well, you figure that fastball is going to be pretty good here today.
Yeah, Monday he worked in the game against the Diamondbacks. Got through the 6th inning, 1, 2, 3. Starts off with Andrew McCutchen, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in the Pirates order. Tough day so far for McCutchen. You saw the graphics, been talked about with McCutchen, the low average by his standards, but still has the pop. 15 home runs. And as we get ready to move into the final couple of months of the regular season, his resume is too good for too long. Interesting to see how McCutchen the rest of his year goes.
Well, he's going to have to start picking it up a little bit because they rely on him heavily in the middle of this order.
Strike 3 called. And a frustrated Andrew McCutchen with words for Mike Winters.
Yeah, Pirates are doing a lot of complaining about the strike zone in this series. I'm not sure if it's frustration or what it might be, but you see that fastball from Corey Knebel, and Mike Winters rings it up. Let's see where it is. A little bit off the plate. Knebel will take it.
Yeah, McCutchen's going to disrupt some furniture down there, it looks like.
He might need a new helmet when he gets another at bat.
Here's Starling Marte. Five hits in the series for Marte, including that 4th inning single to center. Knebel bringing it at 95 to even the count.
Yeah, long layoff going to help a guy like Corey. I mean, big guy, throws hard, and he's bringing it right now. Question is, does he have the curveball to go with it?
The 1-1 pitch. Stays with the Heat. Marte with that single in the 4th extends his hitting streak to 7. He's been on a good run though the last 10 games, hitting 400 plus. First time All-Star this year, Starling Marte. Raring back and firing is Knebel against Marte, and it's 2-2.
And he started him out with the curveball. He missed out of the strike zone with it, but everything else has been fastballs.
And Knebel ready with the 2-2 pitch. And there's another strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts. 95 on the radar gun. 2 men out. Bases empty in the 6th.
Well, that fastball's been the money pitch for the Brewer pitching staff today, especially the fastball in. And Marte trying to hold up, can't do it on a pitch out of the strike zone. Up and in.
You see Knebel not messing around. Here's David Freese, and there's the curveball. Again, nasty 0-2. Freese with a .281 average, on base percentage of .360. 2-strike pitch coming.
He started that bat, but able to hold up. Well, when you've seen 2 curveballs and then you come up and in with 95, I mean, it gets on you quickly.
Well, let's Let's see what he offers up. Here's the 1-2. Another fastball. Corey Knebel bringing it 95 plus with regularity here in the 6th inning. A ball, 2 strikes to Freese. Strike 3 called at 97. Freese not happy. Corey Knebel strikes out the side against the heart of the order. Gets McCutchen looking. Marte waving. And Freese takes a look at strike 3. And the Brewers maintain a 2-run lead, bottom of the 6th. The Brewers keep this 4-2 lead as we move to the bottom of inning number 6. Own the future for just $69 per month with a Milwaukee Bucks 414 Super Pass. Guarantee a seat to every game of the upcoming season, including matchups against the world champion Cavaliers, as well as the Golden State Warriors for just $414. For more details, visit foxsportswisconsin.com. Upcoming events. Day is done for Liriano, so coming in now for the Pirates is Juan Nicasio.
Well, Nicasio out of the bullpen. He made 12 starts for the Pirates. Yeah, worked a scoreless 8th inning right here on Friday against the Brew Crew. So it's up to the bullpens now. Both of them have been pretty good.
He has been good since making the move into the bullpen, as Martin Maldonado will lead things off. So both Garza and Liriano go 5. Liriano gives up 6 hits, 4 runs. Walked 3, struck out 7. Maldonado will walk and hit into a double play in the 3rd inning. And he smacks one into left field, a base hit.
Nicasio left one of those sliders right down the middle of the plate. Maldonado waiting back nicely and hits it hard into left field, so a good start to the 6th. And check it out, slider ends up right down the middle. And Maldonado with a nice swing on it, good extension and line drive into left. He's starting to swing the bat much better.
Picking it up, and the timing is good with all the talk circulating around Jonathan Lucroy. Here is Kirk Nieuwenhuis. Nieuwenhuis has been terrific on the homestand, looking for his first hit this afternoon. Seven hits now for Milwaukee, just 4 for the Pirates. It'll be interesting to see on the road now if Nieuwenhuis can pack some base hits, pack some power as the Brewers head to San Diego and on in to Arizona, play the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, keep it going on the road. No reason why he can't. Same game. But the splits have been really hard to figure.
Even Craig Counsell can't quite figure it out. Another home game here for Nieuwenhuis, wrapping up this 10-game run at Miller Park. Brewers trying to get their 7th win of the homestand. Let's have a homestand. Doing damage against the Chicago Cubs.
A lot of big, important home runs, too. Extending leads, taking leads from 1 run to 2 runs. And a big 3-run home run against the Cubs.
3 balls, 1 strike. Nieuwenhuis involved defensively last night, throwing out Jung Ho Kang at the plate. Throw was a little up the first baseline. Martin Maldonado did a terrific job staying with it and applying the tag. And then also last night, Jameson Taillon thought he had his single to right. Dropped in front of Nieuwenhuis playing shallow, and he was able to throw him out 9-3. And Nieuwenhuis draws a walk, so the first 2 Brewers reach. A single from Maldonado, a walk to Kirk Nieuwenhuis.
Well, let's see what Craig Counsell elects to do here with Jonathan Broxton, or I should say Kean Broxton. Jonathan. He got pitcher spot coming up. You know there's going to be a pinch hitter.
Broxton has homered here today. That was back in the 2nd inning. Want to visit with his third base coach Ed Cedar right now.
You can see how you can confuse Kean and Jonathan, can't you? I mean,
they look a lot alike.
There's
very,
only
very similar build.
There's only about 100 pounds difference. Yeah, check out the hands right here. Nice, quick to the baseball. Not a lot of body in that. Just throws the hands at it and knocks it out of here. Big adjustment that he's made.
Casio versus Broxton. Brewers with runners at first and second. Broxton showing bunt, lays it down third base side. This will get the job done, and a collision over at first. Broxton and Harrison, and both are feeling it.
Yeah, not much either one of them could have done to avoid that contact. Boy, head on. And not a very good throw by David Freese. It took Harrison toward the runner, and they collided, and that was a big-time collision at first base. There's a nice bunt, beautifully executed down the third baseline, and now the trouble begins. You wonder if a shoulder issue with Broxton. You can see where he hits. They both hit. Harrison goes down hard. Glasses go flying.
Yeah, there was nothing either could do.
No.
You know the collision's going to happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, the good news here is that Keon Broxton appears to be all right. However, they're still looking at Josh Harrison.
Yeah, Harrison got up initially, but then went back down. Could be a number of different things that could be wrong with him right now. You got leg to leg. You got the chest into the side of the shoulder of Josh Harrison, and both going down. I guess it could have been a lot worse, but neither player fared all that well in that collision. I think that's going to be it for Josh Harrison. Tough play.
Harrison's day will end favoring that right leg. Pirates had a scare on Friday when Francisco Cervelli looked like he may have had a significant foot injury, but he was back in the lineup last night. Adam Frazier now in the game for Pittsburgh. Very versatile player for the Pirates, with some of the Pirates fans, Brewers fans too, applauding Harrison as he heads to the dugout. Frazier, a 24-year-old, play multiple positions for Pittsburgh. He is now their second baseman. That was a terrific bunt by Broxton.
It was beautiful, right down the third baseline. That's where you want it. First and second, nobody out.
And he appears to be okay. Said, I've waited a long time this opportunity. Had multiple call-ups here. Want to hang around a while this time.
Yeah, it's not going to take a lot more than that to get me out of a game.
Infield in for the Pirates. Brewers up 2. A chance to extend it as Andy Wilkins pinch hitting here in the bottom of inning number 6. Wilkins has 1 pinch hit in 10 appearances, and that one was a big one, a home run. Hitting against Juan Nicasio. And it's 0-2.
That best fastball of the day for Nicasio, 95 miles an hour, right on the outside corner.
He gave up a single to Maldonado, a walk to Neuenhuis. Broxton moved him up on a sacrifice bunt. 2-strike pitch. See if the Brewers can try to break it open here.
I imagine that they're not going to be running on contact, not with Maldonado at third base. It's going to take a fairly deep fly ball to score him.
1-2. Missing with a fastball. '27-year-old Andy Wilkins, 5th round pick of the White Sox back in 2010. Here's the 2-2. And it's gone from 0-2 to a full count. Jonathan Villar waiting on deck. He'll be looking for his first hit today. Payoff pitch coming up to the pinch hitter Andy Wilkins. Here it comes. And he struck him out.
That's a pretty good fastball right on the corner. All fastballs to Wilkins in that sequence. Got ahead 0-2, then tried to get him to chase, and then put one. He burned off the corner here with a fastball with something on it right underneath of it.
So 2 outs here with runners at second and third for Jonathan Villar. Brewers have stranded 4 runners so far today. VR has been good this season with runners in scoring position. Has a chance right now. .296 average for the Milwaukee shortstop. While we're talking about, he has delivered in these situations, has an opportunity here.
Yeah, 30 RBIs and only 1 home run. That speaks well for the bottom of the Brewers order. Getting on base for the top. That's a lot of RBIs for a leadoff hitter.
Break even pitch. Another good fastball from Nicasio. Trying to get out of a jam after the first 2 Brewers reached. Here comes the 1-2. Casio moving to the bullpen. Got a few Pirates pitchers who have made that move from the rotation to the pen. He's 3-0 as a reliever. A little over a month ago. Joined the bullpen. .233 ERA in relief. 2-2 coming. And he fouled that off his foot.
Man, much more effective coming out of the pen with basically being a 2-pitch pitcher. He's fastball slider. More times than not, you need more than 2 pitches to be able to get through a batting order 2 or 3 times.
29 years old. Almost exclusively a reliever with the Dodgers last year. He did have 1 start.
Yeah, slider in and pounds it right off the top of his foot.
Painful inning for some players here, to say the least.
You got a lot of hardware around that area. Still got him.
Count holding, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Maldonado at third. Neuenhuis, the runner, at second. And a full count. Jake Elmore is waiting. See if the Brewers can extend this 6th inning. Here comes the 3-2. And he strikes him out. Back-to-back strikeouts with runners at second and third. Nicasio out of trouble. Carlos Torres coming on for Milwaukee. Miller Lights, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. Keon Broxton, a home run today for the Brewers. And a good sacrifice bunt, but fortunately the Brewers missed an opportunity in the 6th, so the lead remains at just 2. 4-2 Milwaukee over the Pirates. Corey Knebel striking out the side in the 6th, and now he'll give way to Carlos Torres.
And Carlos, look at his numbers, a 284 earned run average. You don't look at him and say he's a strikeout pitcher, but he actually is. 50 strikeouts and just shy of 51 innings of work. Got that 228 opponent batting average. Well, he's got the bottom half of the Pirates batting order coming up.
And Adam Frazier will lead things off. He pressed into service after a collision on a sacrifice bunt. Keon Broxton with runners at first and second executed a very nice bunt down the third baseline, and there was a collision at first between Broxton and the covering Josh Harrison. Keon's okay, but Harrison had to come out. So Adam Frazier, the 24-year-old, in the lineup for the Pirates.
Been swinging the bat pretty well. 372 average. Limited plate appearances, but still in all, pretty good start.
He's played second for the Pirates. He's played third, as well as the corner outfield positions. 2-strike pitch. His big league debut 5 weeks ago did Frazier. And a swing and a miss. Right on cue. You talk about him being a strikeout pitcher. Torres begins the 7th with a punch out.
Hey, the State Fair gets underway next week, and with the Fair Days double play, you'll get a ticket to a Brewers game and a general admission ticket to the Wisconsin State Fair presented by U.S. Cellular. All for just $15. Go to brewers.com/State Fair.
Fun time of year going on. Here's Jordy Mercer.
It's 5 straight outs now for the Pirates, all strikeouts.
Yeah, Polanco to win the 5th. Garza got him looking. Knebel taking care of McCutchen, Marte, and Freeze. Torres with a strikeout of Adam Frazier. 9 strikeouts for Brewers pitching here this afternoon. Matt Garza went the first 5. Knebel the 6th. Two balls, 1 strike to the Pittsburgh shortstop. This is popped up. And calling for it will be actually 2, and it'll be VR taking it. You had Perez and VR there, but VR will take care of it.
As long as somebody catches it. Looks like Perez was under it calling for it in the last minute. He peels off. Pop-up priority. On a ball like that, it's usually the third baseman. On a ball going back into the outfield, the priority goes to the shortstop, but doesn't matter.
It worked out. Here's Eric Fryer. Going after the first pitch, and a roller over to Scooter Gennett. And the Brewers' relief pitching continues to be very effective. A perfect 6th from Knebel, a perfect 7th from Carlos Torres, as we keep it here at Milwaukee afternoon in Wisconsin.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Today's game summary. Once again, the Brewers able to score early. Hernan Perez stealing second, and he comes all the way around on this throwing error as the Brewers have scored in the first inning all 3 games of this series. Keon Broxton in the second launches this over the wall. Gregory Polanco, who homered last night, he gets to Garza here for his second homer in as many games. And then big Chris Carter with his 24th big fly of the season. And his 18th in the home ballpark. 4-2 Milwaukee, bottom of the 7th inning. Jake Elmore will lead things off as Juan Nicasio stays in there for his second inning of work for the Pirates.
Yeah, why not? He looked good. He really did look good in that 7th inning, right? 6th inning. A couple of men reached in the beginning, and then a couple of strikeouts to end it.
Yeah, missed chance for the Brewers, second and third with one out, and Nicasio able to get Andy Wilkins and Jonathan Villar. Nothing in 2 to Elmore. And Jake shoots one down the line, but foul. Alabama native Jake Elmore. Baseball survivor. Gets let go and gets picked up elsewhere. He can play every position. He has done that at this level. Getting some good playing time for the Brewers this week as he strikes out, as the turning into a strikeout parade here for both sides. Both bullpens getting it done.
Yeah, 3 in a row now for Nicasio. And today's time of the game winner, Steiny's Pub in Baraboo. That's not too far from here. Hey, if they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Just a little northwest of Madison, not far. The Boo, some people call it.
You hang out there?
I've been there a time or two.
Isn't that the Circus Museum there?
I think so. Mike, do you know that? Yeah. Mike Faulkner. I have not been to the museum. Been to other places at Baraboo, maybe a time or two.
He's like Rand McNally up here.
He is.
I mean, whenever you ask a question like that, look to your left.
I do. Just turn, Mike. What do you think? Yeah, yeah.
I think he actually mapped out the state of Wisconsin at one point.
He is Mr. Wisconsin. A great statistician and so much more. Wealth of knowledge. He's saying, shut up. Just watch the game. Just shut up. 2-1 pitch is downstairs.
Everybody likes to hear their name on TV, don't they?
He deserves a little recognition. As does our producer Brent Reeland, director Mark Vittorio, Dave Trout, graphics, Lisa Rodriguez, rock. He's swinging a miss there for Perez.
Yeah, and Lindsey Gresham not here. You know, she just got married yesterday.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to Lindsey, and married Tim. I can't pronounce Tim's last name, so I'm not going to try. So congratulations. I think they're heading on their honeymoon soon. So Lindsey, we miss you, and but congratulations.
Perez a strikeout. And that's 4 straight Brewers now who have gone down on strikes.
It's Tim Plose. Okay.
Plose.
I was told in my ear.
All right.
Now, how many times did I ask that question yesterday?
At least a couple, and you got
crickets,
but dead air.
Nothing. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
They're here to help eventually.
No, I appreciate them helping like that.
That's
yeah,
right.
I wish I wasn't. There's a kind of a strange spelling to the name. I didn't really want to go there. I didn't want to try. I didn't want to mess it up too bad. But
I understand.
Got it today. Bottom line, congratulations, Lindsey.
Sails up on Chris Carter with his 24th home run of the year this afternoon. That is a Badger Mutual Insurance run. 24th home run of the year for the big man. 1-1 pitch. He has 5 hits on the homestand with the 2 home runs. And important in this series, a lower scoring series. The Brewers trying to sweep it.
Yeah, 6 outs away. 6 outs away from a very nice homestand.
3-1 pitch from Nicasio.
He's got the stuff. Blows it right by Carter on the 3-1 count.
Nicasio has struck out 4 straight. 2 to win the 6th and 2 here in inning number 7. Payoff pitch. And he strikes out the side. Boy, both bullpens are doing some work here this afternoon. Go to the 8th, 4-2. It's Will Smith time at Miller Park. Park. He's got the motion W going there in the cap. Loving the Brew Crew. He's had something blue to eat today. That's good. Told you Will Smith was coming in. I jumped the gun. My bad. Carlos Torres, who, why not? He was good in the 7th inning, and he's back out there here in the 8th. And maybe, just as soon as I say that, the Pirates announcing a pinch hitter. And with that, Craig Counsell will make a move and see, like I said, it's Will Smith time here at Miller Park.
You were right. Just took a little longer for everybody to figure that out. You had it right away.
Oh, a pitching change at the ballpark. As mentioned before, Will Smith time here at the ballpark. Sending some pinch hitters up, and it will begin with the man on your left, Max Moroff, who will be making his big league debut. Switch hitter, but Counsell wants his left-hander to work against him as Will Smith gets the call.
Yeah, sent Torres out just as a decoy to see who Clinton Hurta was going to send up there. If he sent up a right-hander, he might have stayed in the game, but the switch hitter comes up. It's going to be Will Smith, 27th appearance, a .386 earned run average. He's got the 9th spot, then the top of the order coming up.
So he will face Max Moroff, his first big league at bat, called up from AAA Indianapolis. And he takes a look at a strike from Smith. Moroff was the Pirates organization's minor league player of the year last year, 23 years old, out of Winter Park, Florida. Drafted 4 years ago by the Pirates. A very good year in Double-A last season. 1-1 pitch.
Man, that's been the pitch that Will has really been trying to get a little bit more consistent with, the curveball and the slider. We talked about the home run that Polanco hit yesterday. It was on a slider from Smith. It stayed up in the strike zone. When he's going well, I mean, he keeps that pitch down and in to right-handers pretty consistently.
And slapped hard but foul. The bullpens have been racking up the strikeouts here this afternoon. Corey Knebel struck out the side in the 6th. Juan Nicasio did the same in the 7th. He's actually struck out 5 straight Brewers hitters. 2-2 pitch, and there's another strikeout. One away in the 8th.
10 strikeouts for Brewers pitching, and the Pirates have struck out 12, so there's been a lot of swings and misses in this game. There's that slider we're talking about. Down and in, off the plate, and Moroff a strikeout victim. Out in front, over the top of it.
1 out here in inning number 8. Smith now will work against Sean Rodriguez. Pirates have a 6-man bench here today. Clint Hurdle dipping into it.
A couple of starters on the bench. You got Gung and Cervelli.
Two balls, no strikes to Rodriguez. Super utility player. Pinch hitting here. He'll stay in the game most likely. Over at first, often does come in, if not in a pinch hitting role, as a defensive sub late in the game.
They did that yesterday. Ended up going 0 for 2.
Two balls, one strike. Three-one pitch. Rodriguez was thinking ball 4, not to be. Rodriguez in the final year of his contract. Three-two pitch coming. And he draws a walk.
Yeah, doing a nice job laying off that slider down and in. That's where Will Smith really makes his money. Getting swings and misses on that pitch, just like he did to Moroff. Veteran, though, able to lay off of it.
Let's check out Miller Lite's What's on Tap as the Brewers begin a Western road trip tomorrow night against the San Diego Padres. Jimmy Nelson against Jared Cozart. The Padres have made some transactions here, and Cozart gets the call tomorrow against Jimmy Nelson. Coverage starts at 8:30 tomorrow night on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Man, don't have to worry about facing Matt Kemp.
That's right. Now an Atlanta Brave. They have been shuttling some pitchers away, as well as the outfielder Kemp. Here's Gregory Polanco. Let's see how this matchup goes. A swing and a miss there.
Something Maldonado wants to talk over with Smith after Polanco swung and missed at a breaking pitch. You know, the breaking pitch has been what Polanco has been hitting pretty well in this series.
Including last night when he homered off Smith. 0-1 the count. A wave and a miss there.
Not going to hit that one.
Polanco homered in the 3rd inning this afternoon off of Matt Garza. Smith trying to put him away now. Up 2 strikes and nothing. A ground ball to VR. Could be 2. There's Perez for 1 on the first. Double play. In the era of shifting, double plays aren't always what they used to be. 6-5 to 3. Clint Hurdle will get a second opinion. Let's check it out.
6-5 to 3. Yep, got him.
And the Brewers turn the double play. 6-5-3. They keep a 2-run lead.
hold on to win this game. Milwaukee a chance, David, to get a 7th win on this homestand, and they're doing it now for the 3rd time without Braun and Lucroy in the lineup. Everyone doing well. The pitching has come around. Kind of a nice homestand to gel together.
Well, it certainly is, and you know, you got to give kudos to the role players that have stepped in and really have done a nice job. And you talk about Broxton and Wilkins, all these guys, they've come in and just really contributed to the success of this homestand.
All right, we have Brewers Live post game on the way, and also don't forget that at the end of each series, you can go on to the Fox Sports Wisconsin Facebook page and check out the Brewers final pitch powered by Evinrude. We recap the game and get you set for the next series. That next series, big road trip starting tomorrow in San Diego. Matt.
All right, Craig Davey, thank you very much. Sean Rodriguez will stay in the game. Handle things over at first for the Pirates. On the mound, one of their new acquisitions, Felipe Rivero, a hard-throwing left-hander.
Yeah, now 4 left-handers down in that bullpen. They picked him up from the Nationals. That was in that Mark Melanson deal. And 48 appearances, a .453 earned run average for Rivero. Acquired just yesterday.
And they got him along with Taylor Hearn, a minor league lefty. They both throw hard. And Rivero can get upper 90s, and that's what he's doing here at 97 against Scooter Gennett. Another good day for Scooter. A couple of hits this afternoon. Brewers have 7 hits today. The Pirates just 4. Two balls, 1 strike. Rivero, 25 years old.
And Melanson in the final year of his contract. The Pirates just didn't think they were going to be able to offer the money that they thought that he was going to command, and decided to make the trade and bring in a young left-hander. They have other guys that can close. You got Tony Watson, who right now is, I guess, the guy that's going to close out games. Neftali Feliz, he was a closer for the Rangers for a while, so I think they're pretty well covered in that department.
In good shape. You know, Melanson, one of the outstanding closers in baseball, and I'll tell you the one thing that we're seeing, and maybe it's just being confirmed, the value, the high value of back end of the bullpen players in baseball right now. Those are the guys who can command the monster dollars, or at least in a very good position to do that. The Pirates thinking they can't keep Melanson, so they make the move.
And when you think about it, you know, all season long, but even more when you're down the stretch in a pennant race, is there anything more important than, you know, the back end of your bullpen? I mean, you have to have a good bullpen to get through the postseason, and even get there for that matter. Can't have any soft spots in that pen if you want to win a World Series.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Gennett.
Look at the Kansas City Royals last year, right?
That's the real shining example. I mean, if your starter, if you can get 6, you are good.
It's a bonus.
Yep.
Yep, the year that the Cardinals won, you know, 2011. Big time guys coming out of the bullpen, finishing off games, you know, picking up 4 or 5 innings.
The ways this game has changed. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Scooter Gennett. And a swing and a miss on a breaking ball for out number 1.
That's a nice slider. Throws hard, big fastball with a good breaking pitch. That's a uncomfortable at bat for a lefty right there with that arm angle. Pitch going away from him off the plate. Tough to stay on that.
Rivero originally signed with the Rays in 2008. Was traded to the Nationals a couple of years ago. Facing Martin Maldonado. He's reached twice today, has Maldonado, including that 6th inning single to left. A 98-mile-an-hour fastball. It's been said that Rivero can touch 100. Appeared in 49 games with the Nationals a year ago. A 279 earned run average.
And Nationals must have really wanted Melanson to give this guy up. Left-hander can throw like that. Reminds you a little bit of a Roldis Chapman.
There's a great thought with Chapman back in the Central, and now you got Rivero in the Central Division. Yes. Brewers will be seeing a lot of the Pirates here the rest of the way.
Right, yeah. Pirates and Cubs, a lot of those two teams.
Chapman did scuffle yesterday. 2-1 pitch coming to Maldonado. Felipe Rivero from Venezuela. 3 balls, 1 strike to Maldonado. Back to the heat to run the count full. The last 6 Brewers have been retired via the strikeout. Andy Wilkins and Jonathan Villar to win the 6th. Elmore, Perez, and Carter in the 7th. Jeanette here in the 8th. Three-two pitch. Maldonado a smash into left center field, a base hit. Well, the strikeout string ends as Maldonado gets his 2nd hit of the day and the 8th for the Brewers.
Yeah, hung a slider that time, did Rivero, and Maldonado, both of his hits have come on sliders. One from Nicasio, the right-hander, this time the lefty Rivero hangs a slider up in the strike zone and able to hit it hard out there into center field.
Well, Maldonado continuing to swing the bat well in these last several days. Here's Kirk Neuenhuis looking for his first hit this afternoon. Trying to conclude what's been a terrific homestand for him at the plate. 0-1 pitch. Missing with a slider. Brewers missed a chance in the 6th inning to create a little separation. They had runners at 2nd and 3rd with 1 out, but could not score. And a blow by fastball there from Rivero. A strikeout of Jeanette, and Maldonado reached on a single, and Jonathan Lucroy bat in hand in the Brewers dugout. Keon Broxton is on deck. But just in case.
Well, you'd love to see Lucroy get an at-bat here, assuming that he gets traded sometime today or maybe tomorrow. It'd be nice to give him a curtain call here at Miller Park.
Yeah, it sure would. He is meant to this team on and off the field, but he's meant to the team and the community. Neuenhuis a swing and a miss. That is strikeout number 14 for Pirates pitching this afternoon.
That's just a tough at bat against Rivero. Lefty versus lefty, with the way that guy can throw that slider and bring that fastball. Sometimes not fair.
It's a lot to ask. Keon Broxton at the plate as Lucroy moves into the on-deck circle. see if Keon can move the line here. Is a fastball missing way outside. Broxton a home run back in the second inning. A strikeout in the fourth. And a sacrifice bunt in the sixth that provided a scare and a first base collision with Josh Harrison. Broxton okay. Harrison had to leave the game with right leg discomfort. That's the official word. Looked like a knee to leg hit there. Broxton's knee to Harrison's leg.
Yeah, it could have been a lot of things. Yeah, pick one.
There's Luke on deck.
I just hope he gets an at bat here.
I'm with you. Two balls, no strikes. At 96 for strike one. Felipe Rivero making his Pirates debut this afternoon. 2-1 pitch. Wearing back and missing badly in a couple of offerings.
Come on, walk him. Or knock one out of here. How about that?
That's a plan too. 3-1 pitch. Ball four. And another opportunity. Here comes Lucroy. Even the most casual of Brewers fans know what he has meant. Terrific performance on the field, what he has done in the community. And still a Brewer getting an at-bat here in the eighth inning.
Yeah, it represents Major League Baseball exactly the way you would want any player to do. Outstanding kid.
An even 300 batting average. An all-star again. 2 of the last 3 years an all-star. A big-time bounce-back season after an injury-plagued 2015. The 1-0. Hitters count for the Brewers catcher. Maldonado at second, Broxton at first. Two-0 pitch.
He's always been able to hit, and he is really right before everybody's eyes here in the major leagues. He's turned himself into one of the best defensive catchers in all of baseball.
Rivero the 2-1. And fly ball down the line and out of play. He met with the media this morning. Couldn't say much. Chose to say little, but still met with the media and talked about wanting to make sure that whatever move will be is in the best interest of Jonathan and his family. And getting an at-bat this afternoon. Two-two pitch. Runners will have a head start. When we think back a couple of years ago, that record-setting year of doubles. What a time for one right now. Payoff pitch. One more time, a full count. The 3-2. And this is sent in the air, shallow right field toward the line, and it'll be Polanco making the catch, and that'll do it. As a thank you to Jonathan Lucroy for this crowd in Milwaukee. We move to Four-2. Brewers lead the Pirates. 3 outs from a sweep. Top of the 9th we go. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Spend the night with luxury. 3 outs away, but they'll be tough outs. And Jeremy Jeffress, who's made good on his last 15 save opportunities. Chance for another one now.
Including the first 2 in the first 2 games of this series. Pitched last night against the Pirates. 26th save of the year. A little bit of a bump in the road, a couple of hits, a run allowed, and an inning of work. Overall, tremendous numbers for the Brewers closer.
Out there for the 4th straight day, although Friday night he needed all of 1 pitch to secure the win for Junior Guerra. Andrew McCutchen will lead things off. First pitch swinging and just foul down the line.
Yeah, he was ready for that. He's not about to leave his at bat up to the umpire this time. Is that a new helmet? I don't think so.
He was banging it around in that dugout. is not happy with a call from the home plate umpire, Mike Winters. McCutchen has struck out 3 times today, twice swinging and once looking. Well, good work from this Brewers bullpen. Corey Knebel, Will Smith, and now Jeffress trying to finish it off. A ball to strike to Andrew McCutchen. There's a soft liner into center field, a base hit. So the tying run will be coming to the plate here for the Pirates.
They gave up a couple of hits and a walk, a run allowed in last night's 9th inning, but able to get out of that mess with a deep fly ball to center. And fastball once again in, this time McCutchen able to get enough of it and dump it out there into center field.
Here is Starling Marte. 5 for 10 in the series is Marte. Little chopper toward third. Perez, the only play is at first for out number 1.
And that's the thing about that fastball from Jeremy. It moves so much. He's got the velocity, 97 miles an hour, but he has the movement to go with it. Very unusual. You either have one or the other, and he had Marte just chop it right into the ground.
Jeffress gets the first out of the inning as McCutchen moves up to second. Looking for save number 27 is Jeffress, and he will work against David Freese. Freese 1 for 3, a second inning single. Brewers trying to beat the Pirates here at home for what would be the 9th straight time. Pittsburgh trying to get something going in the 9th. A leadoff single from McCutchen. A ground ball off the bat of Marte.
Good curveball. You knew David Freese was just sitting all over fastball. This is a tough at bat right here. I mean, Freese has had a flair for the dramatic in his career. Very good opposite field hitter. Plenty of power out there in the right field.
A postseason hero for the Cardinals in 2011. 1-1 pitch. Fastball.
I thought he was going to get another one. Thought he was going to get the curveball again.
So now let's see what he gets. A ball, 2 strikes. McCutchen the runner at second. The 1-2 swung on and missed. Brought it at 96. Out number 2.
Well, he's got this pitch working for him. Good luck to you. I mean, big velocity and movement going down. Freeze over the top of it.
Brewers an out away from getting their first 3-game home sweep of the season. First 3-game home sweep. Here is Adam Frazier. Brewers pitchers have recorded 11 strikeouts this afternoon. Frazier came in when Josh Harrison was injured in that first base collision with Keon Broxton. Official word on Harrison: right leg discomfort. A one-strike pitch. That's in there. Rearing back and letting it fly is Jeremy Jeffress. A strike away. And Hurdle's team has scuffled mightily offensively in this series. No balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes. Tried to check it. He did not. Game over. And a sweep for the Milwaukee Brewers. Another save for Jeremy Jeffress. Clint Hurdle irate. This Pirates team frustrated at the balls and strikes, frustrated at the fact the Brewers bottled them up, and now have beaten Pittsburgh 9 straight times at Miller Park.
It's amazing, isn't it? And you're talking about a team that has, been in the playoffs 3 consecutive years. And how about that Brewers pitching staff? I mean, they just completely bottled up the offense of the Pirates, which was pretty good coming into this series.
Big time work, a 7-3 homestand and a sweep of the Pirates. 4-2 the final. Let's send it down to Craig Kashawn and Brewers Live postgame.
Okay, Matt, thanks very much. A lot of smiles